Good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlimli. We're live on DSTV channel 421, Gold TV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Tonight, major tariff adjustment looms with PURC weighing steep proposals from Gridco, ECG and Netco to hike charges by as much as 200%, a move tied to government's push to wipe out the energy sector's crushing debt. Also tonight, averting further bloodshed, government's race against time to resolve the Gbenyiri conflict that has so far claimed at least 31 lives, with the stepping up of a mediation committee with a one-month mandate. Also tonight on Joy News Prime, there are growing calls for punitive measures against invigilators who aid candidates in exam halls, including a proposed 5-year jail term. Details as stakeholders blame the politicization of exam results for eroding integrity in the education system. Also tonight, pay 4 million cedis development fees or you are disqualified. That is a new condition imposed on aspirants seeking to lead the new patriotic party in the 2028 elections. We have details as some aspirants insist the National Executive Committee has no mandate to impose such fees. Later, we'll bring you Prime Business.
In business, engineers and planners urges public to disregard purported statement from owners of Azumah Resource insisting the takeover deal has been finalized, securing the necessary approvals.
If engineers and planners say that it has taken over as the owner of these companies, then it means that engineers and planners, and I believe as indicated in the statement that was issued, that they have completed the equity acquisition of these companies.
Remember, we are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. It's a good time to take a seat and please be my guest. Tonight, consumers brace themselves for higher electricity bills as the Public Utility Regulatory Commission considers steep tariff proposals from Ghana's power utility. The Electricity Company of Ghana is demanding a 225% hike in distribution charges, while Netco wants 174% and Gridco is pushing for a 70% jump in transmission costs. The utility companies blame the sharp depreciation of the cedi for the decision, saying revenues have been wiped out, leaving them unable to maintain networks or fund upgrades. Government insists the hikes are part of efforts to clear the energy sector's $3.1 billion debt. The final decision rests with PURC. But one thing is certain, tariffs will go up. In his 2025 budget statement, the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiala Tuforsin, told Parliament the increases were unavoidable. We will hear from him shortly, but first, here's a NewsDesk report on what the hikes mean for you.
Electricity Company of Ghana has formally submitted a proposal to the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission requesting an upward adjustment in its distribution service charge, the component of electricity tariff that funds the distribution and retailing of power. If approved, the adjustment could have a significant impact on electricity bills nationwide. Under the proposal, ECG is requesting that the tariff be raised from 19.04 pesos to 61.8 pesos per kilowatt hour, a 225% hike. The company argues that the current tariff level is unsustainable for its operations. It attributes the request to several factors, including depreciation of the cedi, which has eroded the value of its revenues, a $408 million investment in network upgrades and smart metering systems to improve power reliability, reduce outages, and efforts to align tariffs with industrial standards. ECG estimates that the new charges will generate an annual revenue of 9.5 billion Ghana cedis between 2025 and 2029. This amount, according to the utility, would be allocated to cover operational costs, depreciation of assets, staff salaries, and recovery of recent capital expenditures. For consumers, the impact could be substantial. A household using 100 kilowatts per hour monthly would pay about 43 Ghana cedi more in distribution charges, while one consuming 150 kilowatts per hour would face an additional charge of 64 Ghana cedis. It is important to note that this is a proposal. The PURC is expected to carefully review the request, assess whether the increase is justified, and determine how the cost will be distributed across residential, lifeline, non-residential, and industrial customers. For now, Ghanaians await the regulator's verdict, a decision that could reshape both household budgets and business operating costs in the coming days. Anthony Menu, Joy News Research.
We can now hear from the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasi Alato-Forson, who told Parliament the tariff increases were unavoidable.
The Speaker, PURC will also undertake a major tariff adjustment, which will be due in fourth quarter of 2025, to reflect capacity charges, additional liquid fuel usage, and additional capex. The weighted average cost of gas will be increased from the current $7.80 per MMBTU to $8.45 to reflect the increased prices of natural gas as well as the changes in the supply mix. So, Speaker, the subsidy on weighted average cost of gas granted to some ceramic companies through the discounted industrial development tariff will be reversed. So, Speaker, I now take you to the revenue measures. Mr. Speaker, in proposing some revenue measures to achieve the 2025 fiscal target for your consideration, I'll first take you to the IMF requirement. Mr. Speaker, this measure is inconsistent with our commitment under the IMF-supported program to observe a non-oil tax revenue effort of 0.6% point of GDP annually as part of the measures to improve domestic revenue mobilization and achieve our debt sustainability target over the medium term.
The major tariff adjustment window opens soon, and some of the utility companies have started submitting proposals to PURC. Well, my colleague Caleb Ziblim joins me in the studio just to go through some of these proposals and the details that we are finding. What is the distribution service charge based on the findings you have?
So the overall electricity tariff structure, it has components. And within the components, we have ECG share, NETCO share, GridCo share, VRE share, and all the other players in the sector. So ECG share is what we call a distribution service charge. NETCO has the same one, and GridCo has a transmission service charge. So all of these components make up the entire electricity tariff bill that you end up paying at the end of the month. So if part of these components goes up, it means that the end user or your entire tariff will also go up. So ECG wants theirs increased from 19 pesos, which is the current rate, to 61 pesos per kilowatt hour. So that's a 225% increment. Now, NETCO, they want theirs increased from 56 pesos per kilowatt hour to 154 pesos per kilowatt hour. And that's 174% increment. GridCo, theirs is now 7 pesos, 7.38 pesos. They want theirs increased to 12.97 pesos. So these three agencies so far have submitted proposals to PURC that these are the increments they want.
But what justification are they giving really? Because when the city was doing quite well, we didn't see it reflect in our pockets. Now it has gone up by just some few pesos, and you want to charge us.
So this is not on the back of the recent city depreciation.
Okay.
So this is a major tariff review that happens every few years.
Okay.
The last one happened in 2022, September. And this is the next one, September 2025. And it's also part of Ghana's conditions with the IMF, so it has to be met. And if you look at all the three players that have walked us through so far, ECG, NETCO, and then GridCo, all of them say it's because the current tariff that's being charged is below the industry standard. They also say that the city depreciation over the past 2 years, so not the current depreciation of the city, but the city depreciation over the past 2 years has eroded almost all the revenue that they've generated. So that's a problem for them. And also, all of them cite some significant work they've done in terms of network infrastructure and all of that. So they say they need to recoup their investments, and this can only be done by increasing their tariff structure. But this is where we'll end, because even though these utility agencies go to PRC with a proposal, PRC makes the final decision. So in 2022, ECG said they should increase it to 39 pesos. By the end of the meeting, PRC said they should take 17 pesos. So even though ECG wanted 39 pesos, PRC gave them 17 pesos. And if you look at discussions from the Energy Ministry, they were expecting a reduction in the tariffs, not an increment in the tariffs. And they say because fuel costs were already catered for with the 1 cedi levy introduction, and also last tariff adjustment that was included in the tariff structure. So according to them, that companies should request for a reduction rather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zibling, for that update. Well, the Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benjamin, is here, joins me live here on Joe News Prime. We appreciate your time. Now, from where you sit, is this reason been given by ECG NEDCO to increase tariffs justified in the first place?
No. And our view and position is that as a country, we must try as much as possible to ensure that electricity prices become very affordable and also accessible. And that fulfills us in meeting our Sustainable Development Goal 7, which talks about affordability of energy. I think that as a country, many a time, energy sector players or entities that provide certain services, especially energy, always come to us for tariff hikes without doing the necessary management or risk taking measures to curb over ballooning cost of their structure. And I think that the time has come for us to engage them properly and ensure that certain efficient measures are enforced at these institutions so that the consumer or the electricity end user benefits at the end of the day.
And then the Finance Minister gave us a hint during the budget presentation, but we know finally that it will take PURC to pen down their final approval for some of these charges to take effect. From where you sit, how do we protect the consumer?
So first of all, if you look at some of the arguments made by these power service providers, I think that there are no justifications for them. I heard one of your panel mention that they mentioned depreciation of the currency, forgetting that the depreciation of the currency have always been factored into any of the use that they've embarked on by PURC. For example, if you look at this third quarter, most CSOs space expected prices or electricity prices to decline. However, the PURC came out with a new tariff structure, which we don't even know that kind of, including reserve margin of 18%, as well as 27% for certain fuel costs. We don't even know how much they are procuring that particular fuel. So at any point in time, there has been a factor for the depreciation of the currency. That is one. Now, two, anytime these service providers come out with some of these arguments, they don't factor the loss of their operation. For example, ECG making arguments that they want 225 out of one mismanagement, because there have been several reports that have indicated over procurement, frivolous procurement of this entity. Two, 225% of technical and commercial losses, hiking almost 34%. How are they going to manage those losses? Why haven't they factored that in computing the 225? So what has come out of some of these proposals indicate that the Ghanaian electric consumer continues to pay for the inefficiency of these service providers in the power sector. Now, when you go to GRICO, for example, they mention over ballooning of expenditure because of illegal mining activities. And when you compute how they came out with their figure, it indicates that there's almost about 300 and something % of cost increment caused by illegal mining. But they could not provide any data to show which areas have been affected by this particular illegal mining. And I think that their proposal is very scanty. And knowing well how PRC operates, they just present some of these things, and the PRC comes and says, okay, you presented 200, we are giving you 20%, we are giving you 30%. At the end of the day, it benefits you. But I think that for us to be able to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 7, where we promote our industrial growth using power as very cost reflective, where we allow household poverty or energy poverty within the household level to decrease because of cost reflective power, I think that this particular justification should not be allowed to increase the tariff.
Thank you so much for your time here on Joe News Prime. Away from that, government is intensifying efforts to ensure the safe and dignified return of displaced residents with the inauguration of a 7-member mediation committee to resolve the Gbenyiri conflict in the Saula Tuna Kalba district. The clashes have claimed several lives and forced so many people, about 50,000 of them, from their homes. The Interior Minister Mubarak Mohammed Muntaka inaugurated the committee chaired by peace-building expert Emmanuel Bombadi. Collins Frimpong has more in the following report.
The Gbenyiri conflict has left villages deserted and families broken. More than 50,000 people have fled their homes. At least 13,000 have crossed into neighboring countries, while others remain scattered across the savannah region with nothing but what they carried and when the violence erupted. Amid this devastation, government has inaugurated a 7-member mediation committee chaired by peace-building expert Emmanuel Bombadi. The team has a 1-month mandate with clear terms of reference to facilitate the safe and dignified return of displaced residents. Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak tasked the committee to promote reconciliation and dialogue.
Members of the committee, this responsibility is a heavy but honorable one. The people of Gbenyiri and its surrounding areas look up to you as instruments of peace, reconciliation, and healing. Government looks to you for practical, credible, and sustainable recommendations that will not only bring relief to the affected communities, but also foster long-term stability and development in the Savannah region.
He further assured the committee of full logistical support, urging them to collaborate with civil society organizations, development partners, and faith-based institutions in carrying out their work.
The ministry will provide the necessary secretariat and logistical support to enable you to discharge your responsibilities effectively. I'll also encourage you to leverage partnership with civil society organizations, development partners, and faith-based institutions as you carry out this noble task.
Chairman of the committee, Emmanuel Bombadi, pledged to build government's efforts to ensure the safe return of displaced residents and restore calm to the affected communities.
So the first thing the committee is seized upon is to build on the Honorable Minister's mission so that we can expand the scope of reaching out to everybody to appease our hearts and to bring back the sense of belonging to one another. A people who have been always together, but something has happened and they separated. And in that separation, people took long journeys outside their homes. How do we begin the journey to return to our communities?
For the thousands displaced, the work of this committee is crucial. It is a chance to return home, to build lost livelihoods, and to restore a sense of dignity after months of fear and uncertainty. Reporting for J News, I am Collins Frimpong.
Away from Gbenyiri, spare part dealers at Abosokai in Accra have severe notice to foreign nationals operating in the enclave to vacate their shops or face forceful eviction. The group embarked on a sensitization exercise today, giving their counterparts 48 hours to leave the market. Adobe Asare was at Abosokai earlier and filed this report.
It's good news. It's just the name of a spare parts shop here in Abosokai, but there's no good news here. Ghanaian traders are raising concerns about foreign nationals taking over their businesses, putting pressure on them. We are here to gauge the mood at Abosokai Spare Parts Hub and get their concerns and exactly what they are going through. Anoban runs the Good News Spare Parts shop. He says they've now become orphans in their own land because authorities fight them instead of fighting for them. while foreign nationals thrive in their businesses.
Personally, I feel very, very bad because we are orphans in our own land. Why am I saying so? We don't have anybody to talk to for us, because Nigerian people will come. They will bring the spare parts from Nigeria to Ghana here to come and supply to us. Maybe, let me say, maybe an engine, maybe a Kia engine that they will supply to me, maybe 8,000 Ghana, and I will put it inside my shop. Somebody will go to that person who sold his own to me for 8,000. And the person will give it to the customer 7,000 cedis.
Kennedy Till says harassment from the GRA and the conduct of foreign nationals pushed him out of the spare parts trade after more than 2 decades.
Look at a young man like me, hustling to get capital, have my own shop, rent it, and then trying to make a living. All of a sudden, a revenue authority will come to you that we have seen you open a shop. I know I've opened a shop, I have to come and register with you. But as soon as you give yourself to this, it's like they have gotten you. The intimidation that they will bring to you, kind of story, what you have not done, they will tell you have done. Especially bringing these VAT issues and other stuff. I've suffered a lot from their hand. Finally, I have to close the shop.
While we were there, a truck moved through the market announcing the closure of all shops owned by foreign nationals by Wednesday, September 10, 2025. But these traders say they've heard such announcements too many times to be convinced. They want real action to secure their businesses. For Joy News, Amadou Biasari.
Let's head now to Ho, where frustration gripped travelers in Ho on Monday as dozens of residents hoping to head to Accra and other destinations were left stranded. At the city's main station, not a single bus was available at the usual loading terminals, leaving passengers uncertain, stranded, and their plans in disarray. There's more in the following report.
Checks by Joy News on Monday indicated that there were scores of passengers stranded at Accra terminals at the Ho station. Majority of these passengers, who were youth and students returning home for their vacations, were uncertain about going according to their daily schedules.
We are students from UHAS and we are on vacation. My friends and I went to STC station around 7 a.m. But the place was crowded and some people too were doing protocol there. Those selling the tickets, they were doing protocol since they knew some people and some people too were paying money to them. So we now had to come here. We left and came here around 8 to 9. Me, I'm going to Techiman, so I have to get to Accra early. Then I'll pick a night bus and go to Techiman.
We've been here since 9 a.m. And first we couldn't really find a bus, but then we found one. We talked to the driver and he was just screaming at us, really unpolite. So that was really frustrating. And now we've been waiting in the line for 2 hours. But the thing is, we actually didn't even know there was a line. So yeah. I came home 1 week ago. I'm doing my internship here. I'm from Denmark. Yeah, so now we're just going to Accra to drop her off in the airport. She's flying out today.
The vice chairman of one of the GPRTU branches, Lawrence Awilu Atitwe, explained what caused the shortage of vehicles.
And over the weekend, we had a Yam Festival, the launching and other things. And so a lot of people came in. And then you should know very well that in the Volta region, when there is the end of the month, there's always masses of funerals. So, as a matter of fact, those who are supposed to be coming are all here, whilst the cars are all locked up in Accra.
There was a similar occurrence at the State Transport Company yard, where about 20 vehicles had left before midday. However, there were still passengers in the yard waiting for their turn.
For example, the vacation. The schools now are in 3 in town. Almost all the universities are vacated. And, everybody wants to go. Accra today is Monday, so moving from Accra is not moving like we expect. Already about 20 buses have left my station. So
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Ho.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. When we return, there are growing calls for punitive measures against invigilators who aid candidates in exam halls, including a proposed 5-year jail term. We have details as stakeholders blame the politicization of exam results for eroding integrity in the education system. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. We appreciate your company. To other stories now, renowned educationist Professor Stephen Adey has warned that the politicization of BEC results as proof of government success in education is eroding integrity in the system. Reacting to Joy News' latest documentary, Dark World of BEC, which revealed how some officials of the Ghana Education Service, supervisors, head teachers and invigilators turned the exams into an organized crime syndicate, Professor Adey said society is losing its value. He called for tough punitive measures, including a 5-year jail term for invigilators who aid exam malpractice. We'll hear from him shortly as he calls for urgent reforms. But here is excerpts of our Hotline documentary produced by GH Probe's Francisca Enchil, read to you.
GH Probe found that one invigilator takes phone numbers of candidates in possession of phones. Questions are solved in a so-called strong room, and the answers are transmitted to the candidates through their mobile phones. They copy and pass their phones on to colleagues who have no phones. The AI was used in 2 ways. Some candidates opted for the use of AI in generating answers to the questions and used the entire responses of AI on WhatsApp, while others sought explanations for questions they had been asked to list and explain. This second group thus demanded further help, as answers invigilators had transmitted to them lacked the explanations. Some invigilators even joined the candidates in the AI search.
In the past few years, we decided that henceforth anybody found with a phone in the examination hall would have their entire results cancelled, because the phone is, for us, as far as examinations are concerned, a gadget that has a storage facility with which you can access information from any quarter. So phones are simply a no-go area as far as our examinations are concerned.
Some candidates brought books into the exams hall from which they copied their answers for the BEC questions.
Certainly, talk about the coordinated form of it. I think that with the involvement of all these personnel who I would say should have been helping us, were rather being against us. Certainly there was something grave that went wrong in the course of the examination. Yeah.
We can now hear from Professor Stephen Adey calling for urgent reforms and stiffer punishment to protect the credibility of Ghana's educational system. He spoke on the morning show on Joy 99.7 FM.
Every student doesn't get the same, but we have synchronized it. The difficulty of the questions are the same in the sense that, but very, because you can generate it. Once you set one major one, you can replicate it, so that in a package of hours, they do it on the computer straight away anyway. But even if you want to go to Showbiz, where nobody will have an access to computer, you have the 100 questions in the pack for chemistry. Each one of them is different and packaged. So there are, at this moment, we have the tools to be able to do so. Again, the idea of the invigilators coming from the GES, I think that we must stop it. Let WAEC recruit its own invigilators, and they are deployed only at the last minute. Why? Because you wouldn't know whether you are going to Kumasi or you go to Brahanababune. So that will be different. So in the WAEC side, and since the time will not allow us, I can go through a lot more that WAEC can do. But that is the end.
Also on the show, Head of Public Affairs at the West African Examination Council, John Kapi, called for increased funding to bring some level of sanity to the conduct of basic education certificate examination.
We are working to ensure that we'll also be able to, introduce a team randomization for the written papers, the essay tests. The issue is about technology, investing in technology. We wouldn't want to ride on the back of lack of funds and make excuses. No, we are making every effort to ensure that we get some more, digital machines that will enable us to come out with that kind of test, as Prof has said. So these are things that we have talked about. When it comes to invigilation and supervision, yes, we have thought about this, but of course, again, we do not take these decisions alone. We need to have the buy-in of the Ghana Education Service. Now, if you are engaging private people, like Prof said, where you can move them around at will, just so that they don't get you to one place and get corrupted, it will call for further funds and all of that. And as a council, our major source of funds is through examination fees. And so if we are allowed to charge reasonable fees, reasonable in quotes, we should be able to get funds to be able to, do all of this in order that from our part, we will be able to bring some sanity in the course of the examination process.
Away from that, a group of newly posted teachers from universities and colleges of education say they have gone a full year without salaries. They blame the Ghana Education Service for what they call unfair and unsustainable treatment. Despite several meetings with GS officials, including the Director General, the teachers say no solution has been offered. Many admit they now survive on loans and the kindness of friends and family. More in the following report.
Group of newly posted teachers from universities and colleges of education have threatened to embark on a demonstration on the principal streets of Accra in protest against the government's failure to pay their salaries and issue staff ID numbers.
The Ministry of Finance releases the necessary funds to pay our arrears and salaries without further delay. We are hereby giving notice that if by the end of September 2025, we are not issued our staff ID numbers, validated and paid our salaries and arrears, we will stage a massive demonstration on the principal streets of Accra to register our displeasure and the hardship we are going through.
According to the teachers, they have worked for 12 months without pay and have still not been granted access to their Ghana Education Service staff IDs, which are required for salary processing and other official services. They claim that although they were posted alongside other teachers who are currently receiving salaries, they themselves have been left out.
Specifically, teachers from the colleges of education have served for 12 months without salary, excluding September. And teachers from the universities have served for 8 months without pay, excluding September. We wish to emphasize that while some have been placed on the payroll and have been receiving their salaries and arrears since December 2024, many others are still yet to be placed on the payroll. Among those yet to be placed on payroll, some have already been issued staff ID numbers but have not been paid, while others have not been given staff IDs at all.
The teachers also expressed frustration over being posted from Accra to other regions of the country without any form of accommodation or allowances. They say they have been forced to survive on loans and the benevolence of friends and family.
Survivorship has been very tough because we rely mainly on loans from our colleagues, friends and family. Sometimes you even call a friend and he will not pick up your call anymore because he thinks you are come to beg him for 20 cedis, for 50 cedis, just to feed.
We've worked for 1 year, we've worked for 8 months, and we need our salaries. I'm from here, I'm from Accra. but I'm teaching in the north. Food, water. Look, we are just living on the benevolence of our colleagues. And loans, quick loan.
Away from that, a fresh controversy has erupted in the opposition New Patriotic Party over new conditions for those seeking to lead the party into the 2028 general elections. Now, former aspirant Francis Adainimo has revealed that presidential hopefuls are now required to pay a 4 million Ghana cedis development fee or risk outright disqualification. The revelation has triggered heated debate within the party, with critics calling the amount exorbitant and designed to limit the race to only the wealthy. In fact, the 4 million Ghana cedis is in addition to the 500,000 Ghana cedis filing fee and the 100,000 Ghana cedis nomination fee, bringing the total amount to 4.6 million Ghana cedis before vetting. We can now hear from Adainimo, who pulled out of the race, citing some unfair practices on the part of the leadership of the party. He spoke to my colleague Elton Brobe.
They are quiet, they are. You never know who has paid, because it won't come out to you. It won't come into.
So this 4 million cedis you are talking about is a condition for qualification.
Why not? Because it is the same National Council, okay? The same National Council that determined the nomination forms, that determined the filing fee. And if it says it has also determined another fee, termed development fee, to be paid by each aspirant, you've got to pay. If you don't pay, it can be used, or it will be used as a basis for your disqualification.
But when they filed their nomination forms and the check they presented, they didn't present 4.6 million. They presented 500,000.
Did you see it? Did they show it? Did you see? Did they show it? I didn't see anybody telling the committee, the elections committee, that they have filed their nomination. This is how much their bankers draft. This is the total amount of their bankers draft. They didn't say it. So unless you are curious to ask, I know that it was one of the conditions.
Yes, that needed to be met.
Yes.
4 million Ghana cedis.
4 million Ghana cedis.
Addition to the 600,000 and the 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, addition to the 500,000 and the 100,000. That is why I put it in my statement that 4.6 million is being demanded from each aspirant. And you can find out.
We'll have to verify whether the aspirants paid additional 4 million.
Well, if
whilst filing their nominations.
Well, there are issues with it. If they don't pay, then what happens? Why not? Because it's a decision of the National Council. Would the National Council waive that? If the National Council waives that, it also has legal consequences.
Presidential aspirant Kwabena Ejapon has also waded in, insisting that the National Executive Committee has no mandate to impose such a fee on aspirants. He's demanding answers.
Party, no, because party no shemra. Say o kofa forma, over 200,000.
Of course.
Say o fill form now de kwa, over
500,000. Of course.
Kambo my 600,000. Enye sika ketwa. Even national election, yeah, go to electoral commission 100,000.
Sure.
There's something about development fee. Na income booklet. No, the moon say.
We saw almost the National Council is going to decide on the development fee.
The National Council has no role in fixing the fees.
Okay.
According to our constitution, National Executive Mikobi. Okay. Any fixing fees no. And you want to fetch the kofa fee from meslape on Aspirant.
But says you are filing the next what you.
There be mean to BBS. I mean to them National Executive ne kind. And a mature almost.
Okay.
Timi twa omumwaye.
Meanwhile, the Center for Democratic Development is calling on the Economic and Organized Crime Office to investigate NPP presidential aspirants who have paid the 4 million Ghana cedis development levy. CDD says the candidates must be made to declare the source of such huge sums of money. Paul Abrampa-Mensah is Programs Manager at CDD Ghana.
Don't have the money. That will also add to the issue of corruption. I said somewhere and people did not get me right. Nobody will go and sell his father's cocoa farm, come and contest elections. Wherever the money was taken from for the contest, the person will try all means to recoup by any means. So these are fears, and this is what is going on. So I mean, it doesn't change anything. It keeps worsening the situation from 50,000 to 100,000. Now it goes to 600,000 with an additional 64 million Ghana cedi on top. Where do we get these monies from? I've seen EOCO chasing people for buying cars, for possessing some luxury activities. Are they going to also chase these people where they got the 4 million from? It's a big question.
Do you propose that EOCO should go after them?
If EOCO goes for somebody who buys a car for $100,000, it's a case. Who buys a car for $20,000 a case? If somebody scoops 4 million Ghana cedi for a concert, is it different from the person who bought a car?
You're still watching Joy News from. When we return, we'll bring you Showbiz. Please stay tuned in. And it's time for Showbiz. Becky Bex joins me in the studio. Hi, Becky.
Hello to you, Fossey. How you doing?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. It was well rested. I had a fantastic time. I had a massage. I know that's not your business, but...
Okay. It's the massage for me. You went to a spa.
Yeah, spa. And
I see.
Like a neck massage. It's still... I think that I still need to go back, to finish it up, but, But
for those of us who didn't go to the spa, let us listen to the entertainment news, please.
Yes, please. Something else actually happened at the weekend when I was having my beautiful massage. It's a chief revenue officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Victor Yao Akogo, has announced a new tax regime that will bring some relief to players in the culture and creative industry. Speaking at the 7th edition of Joy FM's Showbiz Roundtable hosted by Kwame Dazi over the weekend on Saturday, he said the modified system will exempt some creatives from mandatory value-added tax registration.
Now there is a modified taxation which is coming very soon, or soon from September. The modified taxation seeks to let us know that if you are making a turnover of 20,000 up to 500,000, you pay 3% of it as tax of your turnover, and you are not expected to register for VAT.
Okay.
If your turnover is more than 200,000, then the law adjoins you to register for VAT per the current VAT Act.
Okay, but below that,
you don't register for VAT. Annual turnover. Annual to the whole year. Your show you do, your income that you make. If it is not up to 200,000 Ghana cedis, you don't register to pay VAT.
Okay.
Okay, but
that's coming.
Yes,
okay.
So it's coming. Now, there is the likelihood that they can even increase the turnover, the threshold up, so that below it, if you are making a show and your turnover for the whole year doesn't meet a certain threshold, then you don't register for VAT, if the VAT is the problem. But we felt that a lot of people are following you, and for that matter, you can help us mobilize revenue from the consumption.
This is like appealing to the emotions than being practical.
Oh, VAT is like a consumption. More people are consuming goods and services in the country. And for that matter, we are saying that if you consume a good or a service, the person providing the good or service and the turnover is more than 200,000 ought to add VAT element on it and collect on behalf of government and account for it. So you have become our agent, and now we hold you responsible. If you fail to do that, then you will pay the VAT.
Okay. Nana, okay.
Away from that, Accra's vibrant music scene witnessed a major boost over the weekend as H Music Studio, a cloud-based digital studio designed for music creators across the globe, was officially launched at the Rehab Beach Club. The event brought together artists, DJs, and industry players with a listening party also held for the founder's new album.
HM Studios app.
Do you know you can create your own music from scratch with just an app? With HM Music Studio, all you need is your phone or a browser to record, mix, master and refine your sound, giving music creators the tools to bring professional quality music to life. Speaking at the launch, which took place at Rehab Beach, the CEO Harrison Osondu Iheke highlighted the transformative impact HM Music Studio is set to deliver.
A simple music studio app where artists could actually go sign and then upload their music. Again, if you want to mix and master your songs, you can do all that in the app. You know, pretty much and it's easy to use though. It's easy to use. As you all know, music is a movement. African music is a movement, and we need to actually support each other, support our music, because it's a message that we're sending across. So we need to package and put it together and make it look good. It's easy to use, and basically it's there to just help pretty much artists, upcoming artists, build their own music community and just send our message across to the world.
Harrison Osondu Iheke, who is also a musician, held a listening session for his latest album on the same night.
The songs on the album, pretty much we have like 8 songs on it, and most of the songs are songs that I wrote about my life history, things and challenges I've been through. That's why the title is Undefeated, because you go through everything and you still come out strong.
By bridging gaps in access and efficiency, HM Music Studio is expected to empower artists and foster greater collaboration across countries through remote collaboration and features, help artists distribute and earn from music globally, enable talents or artists to discover other artists in their space or region, coupled with creating EPKs and promoting across social channels.
Well, that's quite interesting, Becky.
A report by Nicholas Eko Yamwa right there. We're grateful for your time. It's a Monday. We're just, taking a call.
Yes, please.
Tomorrow,
for some of us that we did not go with Becky to the spa treatment, we are here.
You're still talking about us?
Yes, please. She went alone. But for more news,
next weekend.
You promise?
Yeah.
I don't trust this.
Log on to my job. It's actually SS Wellness Spa.
Okay.
Yeah. They're located at Airport West Hotel.
When I go to the spa, I'll bring you evidence. Until then, let's see if we can believe Becky. Bye.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Prime Business. My name is Winston Take, and out of force business story. Mining services firm Engineers and Planners is urging the public to disregard a statement purported to be coming from owners of Azumah Resources. According to Engineers and Planners, the said deal has indeed been finalized, securing all the necessary regulatory approvals and share transfers done. Bobby Benson is a lawyer for Engineers and Planners.
If Engineers and Planners say that it has taken over as the owner of these companies, then it means that Engineers and Planners, and I believe as indicated in the statement that was issued, that they have completed the equity acquisition of these companies. And the equity acquisition is the shares, owners of the shares as have been issued at the time of incorporation or subsequently. And Engineers and Planners have completed an agreement with the said owner and have acquired all the issued shares in these entities that own the Black Volta and the Sankofa Gold projects. The statement you have, it's as if Multimedia, I have issued, or Multimedia Limited has issued a statement, and the statement is not signed by any officer or employee of Multimedia, and the statement is rather signed by, let's say, another entity. And so you know how to treat those statements. And so, like we've indicated, as far as EMP is concerned, it has completed all the legal requirements to acquire all the equity interest in the entities that own the projects. And any person who is claiming otherwise would have to present a legitimate claim to be considered by EMP.
Moving on, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, Anthony Kwesi Support, has urged Ghanaians to make tax paying an essential priority, stressing its critical role in driving sustainable development. Speaking to Joy Business during the 2025 Ogua Fetu Afeshe, Mr. Support disclosed that GRA is making effort to sensitize people on the importance of paying taxes. Here is more.
The 61st Ogua Fetu Afeshe was on the theme, Innovate to Elevate, harnessing the creative economy for sustainable growth. In her welcome address, the Nkum Ankobi Ahema and Nkum Safohen of Ogua, Nana Makese, acknowledged the youth of Ogwaman as the drivers of the creative economy of Ogua.
Cape Coast, the city of first, has always been a cradle of innovation. To our vibrant and talented youth, I say this: you are the engine of our creative economy. Your energy, your ideas, and your passion are the fuel that will power our city forward. Embrace your creativity, hone your skills, and dare to dream big. The opportunities are limitless, and the future is yours to create.
In an act of goodwill, the Ghana Revenue Authority donated 100,000 Ghana cedis to the Central Regional NADMO and the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly to assist the victims of the flood-caused collapsed buildings in Cape Coast. Speaking to Joy News at the Grand Derby of the Ogua Fetu Afeshe, the Commissioner General of the Authority, Anthony Kwesi Support, shared that the goodwill is part of the authority's mandate in supporting national development.
GRA, as you are all aware, our mandate is revenue mobilization for national development. So a few weeks ago, we got the information that there's a flood or rain disaster that hit a number of houses, that people lost their homes and therefore they needed help. And in that respect, as part of our mandate in supporting national development, the board and the management and the people of GRA decided that we will come and support those who are affected by the incident. And therefore, today, as we came, GRA is donating 100,000 Ghana cedis to support NADMO and the Regional Coordinating Council to provide reliefs to the people so that momentarily they can organize themselves and be able to go about their living.
He also indicated that the GRA is making efforts to sensitize people on the importance of paying taxes.
Being part of this celebration, we have used it as an opportunity to educate Ghanaians and all taxpayers. We should remember that the nation is developed by taxes that we collect, and we encourage all people who are in Cape Coast to do one thing for us. As they go to the bars, as they go to the restaurants, and as they sleep in hotels, when they are leaving and they are paying their bills, they should do one simple thing, that the bills that they are giving should be a VAT invoice. When you demand your VAT invoice, you ensure that you contribute towards VAT, you contribute towards revenue mobilization, and you contribute towards national development.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lesal Nkoma reports for Joy Business.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Andiose Okra, says Ghana's shea industry holds the potential to generate millions of dollars in revenue by the year 2030 if the right policies and regulatory frameworks are put in place. Speaking at a ceremony of the 2025 World Shea Expo in Tamale, Dr. Okra stressed the need to move away from the export of raw shea nut and instead prioritize value addition.
The 2025 World Shea Expo, held at the vibrant city of Tamale in the northern region, was the second edition with strategic focus in the shea industry to position it as a global competitive commodity that can generate millions of dollars to boost the economy and support women and men in rural communities, especially in the northern region. Chief Executive of the Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Andiose Okra, who joined global leaders at the expo, highlighted the vision of TCDA for the shea industry.
From today and henceforth, if you are in this business or you have any idea, you have any suggestion, anything, those who are calling for ban and all those things, the right place to come and discuss your issue is the Tree Crop Development Authority. This is a body under President Mahama set to ensure that we carry out under the resetting agenda, the needed thing for the share industry to go on.
The chief executive called on all stakeholders and value chain actors to work with TCDA as a body recognized to position Ghana's tree crop industry, especially the shea sector.
From the authority responsible, the vision for 2030 for the shea industry is we want to position Ghana's shea industry as a globally competitive, inclusive and sustainable sector that delivers prosperity to local communities, preserve the environment, and add value addition beyond raw export.
This year's expo was on the theme Empowering Women and Youth-Led SMEs in the share value chain, the role of government and financial institutions.
Absa Art Exhibition has once again showcased the power of art and innovation with the launch of its latest exhibition. The opening night placed the spotlight on 2022 winner Gando Collins, whose striking blend of technology and visual art left audience captivated.
Speaking at the Absa L'Atelier exhibition, the flagship art initiative of Absa Group, senior specialist, art and museum curator at the bank, Dr. Paul Baylis, stressed that Absa's commitment goes beyond banking to uplifting the communities it serves. He noted that through platforms like Absa L'Atelier, the bank seeks to showcase emerging talent and drive growth within the creative industry.
When people think of Absa, they always think of Absa as a financial institution, and yes, we are. But at the same time, we also want to be able to support and grow the communities where we operate. So through our citizenship programs and through our sponsorships, we also want to support and help those communities aspire to achieve the best at what they do. And one of those ways that we do that is through the visual arts. The Absa Atelier is a Pan-African art competition, so it has a presence in all the countries across this wonderful continent of ours where Absa has a physical presence. And really it's to support the artists and grow that ecosystem.
The exhibition showcased Collins's unique approach to visual art, which blends QR codes and artificial intelligence to create a more interactive experience for audiences.
As human beings, we move through spaces and we accumulate memory. And I was relating that to the QR code. You see, when you see the QR code at first glance, it's like a pattern, black and white and all that. But when you look at it closely and you engage it with your phone, it takes you somewhere else, either on information about a product or a website for you to experience something. And I believe we humans also function in the same way. When we engage with people, they get to share, they get to know more about us and what we've been through and all that.
Dr. Baylis further encouraged young artists to prepare their work for submission, announcing that entries for the next edition of Absa L'Atelier will open on April 1 next year.
Next year will be 40 years of the Absa L'Atelier, and the competition will open on the 1st of April next year. To any young artist out there watching this, begin working on your portfolio, begin putting your works together, and on the 1st of April, enter, throw your hat in the ring. You never know, you might become the next Gando Collins and carry the flag of Ghana into the future.
The evening not only celebrated artistic innovation, but also reinforced Absa's role in empowering Africa's creative voices through sustainable platforms that merge culture, technology, and opportunity.
That's all for business. Already Black Stars are leading by a goals to nil, and we'll be back with more goals as well. Stay tuned for more after this. Stay tuned.
Good evening. Welcome to Prime Sports. I am Muftaru Nabila Abdullah. In the 49th minute, Ghana took a lead against Mali on March Day 8 in the ongoing FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifiers. It was Alexander Jiku who scored the goal following a corner kick from Jordan Ayew. And that means that as it stands now, Ghana leads the group with 19 points. Joining me in studio is my colleague Joseph Ayinga Walter. We saw the first half. 4 minutes into the second half, Ghana took a lead. Talk to me. just how important it is for Ghana to have this lead and why they must protect this very lead if they want to make it to the FIFA World Cup.
Group I mean, leaves and gives Utuado a breath of fresh air, especially that measurable performance at Chad brought him under serious pressure.
Okay.
So now, being ahead of the group and then sitting comfortably on top would mean you head into your next 2 games with less pressure.
Yeah.
That's when you come up against Central African Republic and then Comoros. So, I mean, going into the next 2 games, I see the Black Stars doing so well in terms of having less pressure and also Utuado trying to balance things up with different players and different fresh airs and different mix of boys and all that. And as it stands now, if Ghana plays a draw, we are comfortable. When we win 2, we are comfortable. It's all about a win or a draw.
But I disagree with the position of a draw because if Ghana draws, they will have 1 point advantage over Madagascar. Following their victory over Central African Republic, they have 16 points. So you don't want to go into the final round of matches with just a point advantage.
Yeah, and I think playing it cool and safe rather makes it better than anything. Because if you end up getting a draw in this, you're not out of the qualification zone. Yeah. You're still in it. So you fight for it in your next 2 games. That's probably next year. So you play Central African Republic, then you play Comoros. These are die hard and then you're going in for all the 3 points. So that's 6 points in all. You draw this game because as it stands now, the stakes are too high in this very game. The Malians are very physical at this point. They are trying to get their bodies literally everywhere on the pitch. So if you don't fight for either a draw or a win, then you might end up losing it all.
And it means that Ghana must ensure that they are able to secure victory. 23 minutes more to play. They need to protect that. Tune to Joy 99.7 FM. We have commentary ongoing on this game. And join us later tonight at 9 p.m. on Joy Prime, where we'll bring you Sports Zone. But just before we go, let me tell you something pretty quick about the Captain's Cup. The Ashanti Royals and Delani, they trailed fans of Polo at the Accra Polo Club on Saturday. My colleague, Joseph Ayinga Walter, was there to witness it as the Leukemia Project Foundation put together this event to create awareness for leukemia.
The event saw Ashanti Royals and Delaney go head-to-head in an exciting contest in the final, with Delaney emerging as eventual winners. The tournament climaxed with a vibrant mix of social, entertainment and auction activities, all aimed at supporting the foundation's vision of establishing a center for hematology and clinical genetics at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Our project basically is to set up a center where leukemia will be looked at in more depth and provide more care for leukemia victims. Our Accra Polo Club is also a high net worth private members club, and it's also an exciting game. It brings people around, okay? So if you have a story to tell and if you need help, I think it's one of the best places. There are other places, but it's one of the best places to start with, okay? Now, the Edward Oseibuachi Trust Fund, which is also a private charitable trust, which sets out to help with health infrastructure, health support, healthcare, and all that, would like to go into more sustainable healthcare. And we think that supporting the establishment of a clinic is a very sustainable, long-term support that we could give healthcare in Ghana.
The French ambassador to Ghana, who was also in attendance, commended the initiative and underscored the importance of addressing health challenges such as leukemia through platforms like the Accra Polo Club.
At the place like the Polo Club of Accra Polo Club, where rich people, real people on the ground, they can meet, they can talk, they can share, that is typically the right place where in common we can rally to fight together, to work together to find the best solution against any kind of disabilities.
The event also drew support from public figures, including rapper Sarkodie and actress Jocelyn Dumas, whose presence added star power and further amplified the campaign's message. The event concluded with award presentations, photo sessions, and lively music performances.
700 Ghana cedis. Black label at 72.
My colleague, Elam Benande Femako, with that report. And this is our Rafa Prime Sports here with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah.